Press 1 in the comment section if you are a late bloomer black man. That means you're the guy that got overlooked in high school. You're a guy that really didn't get all the girls. But later on in your life, you became and developed into something that a lot of women wanted. Black women in particular, whether it's because of your looks became better, or you became a high earner, or a combination of all of them. And that seems to be the case with our brother Terrell Owens. He was a brother that was a late bloomer. But there's a very good video by this brother Trevon Jones, and it's called Terrell Owens, a sellout for abandoning black women. I want you guys to see if this hits home for you as an African-American man, and kind of just let me know if you can, as a late bloomer black man, can you actually relate to this? Let's get into the video.
Share this video. I want to talk about Terrell Owens real quick. Terrell Owens is telling his story. Like a lot of black men tell their stories, and just recently, a lot of black men have started to tell their stories. We've started to open up and, say what we want to say, because a lot of times black men are not heard. A lot of times black men, suppress their feelings on how they feel because it goes in one ear and out the other, and nobody's paying attention. But because of social media, and we have social media, so we have men talking about different things and sharing different things and experiences. Now it's open now, and everybody can see it. You know what I mean? So now it's a discussion, and whereas women would ignore it or wouldn't hear it, now they're able to hear it, because a lot of women are on manosphere stations, where men are getting together talking about different things. A lot of women are on those platforms listening, basically, and this just was a situation where he's talking to another brother, talking about his experience with dating black women. This is an experience that most American black men go through, with dating a black woman, especially in America, with their entitlement, and you have to make a certain amount of money, you have to be in a certain position. And unfortunately, we have a lot of colorism in the black community. If you're too dark, I don't want you, especially growing up, because from the time that he was growing up, light-skinned men were the thing, and this is the truth. From the time he was growing up, it was all about getting with a light-skinned man. Now, all of a sudden, you have women who say, I love a tall, dark-skinned dude. This is what they're saying now. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't like that 50 years ago, 40 years ago. It wasn't like that.
That's true.
Everybody wanted a half-breed or a light-skinned dude. You know what I'm saying? So growing up being dark, he went through a lot, and he expressed this. A lot of girls didn't want me. They were always saying how dark I was skinny, even in college, where you can clearly see that he's in college and he's doing something for himself. He's trying to make a way for himself.
This is also very important. And I think that a lot of you brothers who were in college, I was in college in the 90s and the 2000s, this is very similar to what I've experienced, because even at HBCUs, you would find a lot of black men at HBCUs. They could talk about the ratios all the time. You have a lot of black women there in comparison to the men, but the reality is a lot of women didn't even want the men at HBCUs, especially at Howard University. A lot of those ladies would spend their time, if they wasn't dating Qs or something like that, the guys in the fraternities, they would be dating guys that were drug dealers or guys who were off campus. So this is something that's important. Even if you're a black man and you're on the right path. I know I've experienced this, many guys experience this. It's not a ticket for you to be like, okay, I'm gonna get a black woman now because I'm in college, right? So, and not that it should, but you would think that it would, at least let a woman know you're on the right path. But let's continue.
Way for himself, he was still overlooked. He was still talked about. He was still clowned. Now, it's funny because I'm listening to a lot of, some of these females, and I'm reading a lot of the comments, and who hurt, it's the same typical bullshit. Mm-hmm. Who hurt him, and why does he have to attack all black women? It wasn't all black women that did this to him. Well, for him, it was. For him, it was all black women. Whether we can easily play that game and say, well, he didn't date the whole world, he didn't date all black women. We can easily say that bullshit. But the reality is, where he comes from, it was majority of the black women that were on that bullshit.
Okay.
And it's the truth. For him, that's his truth.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we can argue now that he's rich, that he's making all this money, and now he has a nice body, and now black women love tall, dark men. That, well, why wouldn't he date a black woman? He's insecure. That's another word that they like to use.
Mm-hmm.
Has nothing to do with him being insecure. He's just getting in where he can fit in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why a lot of women like to just continuously shame, black women in particular, like to continuously shame black men, even though he's telling you, this is the reason why I don't date y'all. So instead of changing that and teaching your daughters to quit doing dumb shit like that, because they potentially messing up their own opportunity from a good man that would swoop them up, because most black men want to be with black women, ladies.
It's a very true statement there. I would agree.
Most black men want to be with black women. That's a fact. But with this whole, I ain't dating him, he's a scrub, and they always want to go out there just getting thugs and motherfuckers that's from in prison and in the jail system. They want to go after those type of dudes.
Mm-hmm.
So now that he's established, he's a star, he's this, he's that, he's making all this money. Now all of a sudden, he's the one with the problem because he doesn't want to date black women.
Mm-hmm.
And he's blatantly coming out and vocalizing, saying, yo, I only date, white women. I only date white women because, unfortunately, they make me feel better. I just, bond better with them.
To be fair, Terrell Owens said, and he might be just using it as an example, Terrell Owens did say that while it doesn't deter him, his experience with black women, from dating black women, he also leaves it open, right? So basically, he's looking for certain characters, certain qualities. So he doesn't discount black women from whatever's happened in the past. But at the same time, he is an equal opportunist in so many words.
And that seems odd coming from a dark-skinned black man saying something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That he bonds, that he gets better treatment from a white woman.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I can see how that can make black women feel a certain way. Because I'm a dude, and that makes me feel some kind of way. Like, damn, that's kind of fucked up. But the reality is, he's telling his truth.
Right.
He's just being constantly dogged out. And I have to tell you, just in my life, you know what I'm saying? Even now, most black women will walk right past me, don't even speak. Mm-hmm. Most black women, even if I did try to holler at them or whatever, I just know better than that bullshit now to even try to do some shit like that. But even if you were to do that, even at the time that I were to do that, I was looked at as a scrub. Even though I'm a motherfucker working every day, I always had a job. I always was working. You know what I'm saying? I've always made above minimum wage. You know what I'm saying? I've always, had good jobs and did what I needed to do. But black women, it was always the other races of women who gravitated towards me the most. It's always the other races of women. Even now, that's just the way it works for me. It's the Indian.
So, me being a pro-black and, being all about all black everything, one of the things we can never do is discount the black man's experience. And a lot of things that he is saying, I've experienced. I grew up in Sacramento, a very multicultural, interracial dating sort of city. And it's not uncommon to find a lot of this. Most of my friends that were black, that were men, that went to professional school, I was a bio major, I went to medical school, a lot of my buddies went to dental school. Only one of them married a black lady. All the others have women of other races. And of course, being a hardworking black man, it's like you almost have to be very exceptional to get what you're trying to get in the black community. You're from a decent woman. I'm not saying that it is the case, but it seems like it's the case. And obviously it depends on what city you live in. If you live in Atlanta, Memphis, Houston, that might be a little bit different. But coming from the West Coast, yeah, I can really see where it's coming from. But a lot of these black men are going through these experiences. It's not just African American men that talk about this. It's men from Africa, men from the Caribbean. It's also very common to them. Okay, so let's continue to listen.
You know, it's the Indian woman, or you know, or the Latina woman, you know, or the white woman that is Googling eyeing at me. It's the black woman with an attitude, walking right past me, not wanting to speak. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's them. It's the black woman that does this to men. But because he's in a position where he's making money, for some reason, black women seem to think that he's obligated to swoop up a black woman. Now that he's in the position that black women want to see black men in, which is making more money than them so they can live that soft life and take advantage of a man. Now it's his obligation to get a woman who looks like his mom and looks like his sister. And, you know, because now that's self-hatred that he doesn't want to be with a black woman. It's not self-hatred because he still could be pro-black and still want to, you know, hey, sis, you my sister. Because now he has put most of you black women in the sister zone. And that's what a lot of y'all are upset about. But y'all didn't even place him in the friend zone. Y'all just said.
Well, I disagree with him right there. You can't be pro-black and date non-black. You can be a black community ally, but I don't agree with that part. But I get what he's trying to say. You know, he can still be respectful and love black people, but pro-blacks are a different breed. You know, pro-blacks deal with all black everything. You know, you can't be lukewarm with it. But I get what the brother's trying to say. I definitely see what he's trying to say.
Y'all just said, don't fuck with me. Get away from me, you up. That's what y'all said to him. That's what y'all said to him. Now he's saying, look, sis, I love my black women. I love y'all, but I can't date y'all. Because the type of attitudes that y'all have don't fare well with mine. It don't fare well with me. But for some strange reason, that's an issue for black women. Because they all on social media clowning him. Instead of trying to fix the problem, they're making it worse by clowning him even more, which you're proving the freaking point.
Let me kind of talk about that. You know, one of the things that I feel like as black men, and I will have one criticism of this, which I believe he's correct. Black men really have to focus on, you know, like I said, firstly, helping each other. This is the main thing. A lot of black men are out here, you know, by themselves, working by themselves. And because as men, we don't have no trust with each other. We can't really build communities and things where we would set the tone and the tonality to be productive men, to be able to say, okay, listen, you know, we have women in our community that, you know, we're doing things for, or, you know, for each other. And, you know, we have these things going on, and you'd be surprised at how many women would want to come in. And I think that a lot of black men haven't looked at it that way. But I'm telling you, if black men come together and just start to work together on certain things, a lot of women would have to change to be in that community. And it's really just that simple. But because, you know, a lot of black men, you know, have a distrust, and I'm not trying to put it on black men, but I'm just saying, here's what you can do. Because if you do that, the women that don't want to be there will not be there. You know, a lot of that, you know, not speaking and not having, you know, whatever, that wouldn't be allowed if you had black men that, you know, had, you know, 5 or 10 brothers that was doing something and stuff like that. Women that come into your community would not be acting like that. I can tell you that. If they do, they'll change it. But he's right. You know, to be honest, he's right. A lot of the women don't have a whole lot of respect for men. And then, you know, again, they go out there and then they want to criticize you when you make a different choice. But again, I think that, you know, a lot of that stuff can be ignored. Because whenever you got men doing something and coming together, you can beat that. But yeah, he's right. He seems like a brother that is definitely has a story to tell, and he seems like he's a brother that still loves black women, but he has gotten a lot of disrespect, and other women have picked up on his abilities and black women have not. And you got to understand, we come from a disenfranchised place, and I'm not trying to say that is an excuse, but a lot of the women don't have good male role models like some of the whites do. They don't understand what a good man is supposed to be, and that's kind of where we've been disjointed at. But one thing that I can tell you, that as black men, if you get black men working together, in doing some business with each other and doing transparent stuff, man, those women are gonna change their attitude quick. Because when black men come together, man, they can make things happen. So, but again, like I said, shout out to the brother. Let me check out his channel again, guys. Just put the channel on the screen, Brivian. He's a great YouTube channel. Check him out. His name is Trevon Jones. The brother's Trevon Jones. Go subscribe. I'll leave the link at the top of the comments, pinned to the top. Tell them about Shay Duke Jackson sent you. And as you know, we're out. Peace.